Let's now learn how to read this tree. And as I said to some people earlier, one way to get a lot better at diagrams is to redo them. So if you had trouble making that diagram, you probably want to pause now and try to build it again. So, and someone's asked me, how do you read these diagrams? And that's a great question. So let's start with a little quiz, which we'll title Know What You Know and Don't Know. And here's our diagram, our tree diagram. And by the way, this tree diagram is only for this type of logic game. So please don't watch this recording and then go and take the LSAT the next day and try to do this for every game. So my first question is, does K finish before P? And I want you to vote up top, A, B, or C, which you'll see above our names, not with the pointers. Not with the pointer, so whoever that is, take it away. Please vote up top, A, B, or C. Thank you. And, okay, I'm getting some good votes here. Does K finish before P? Got a bunch of people voted, a few more. Wendell and PD, Pam, put your votes in. You won't see it, but we see that you voted, don't worry. And all right, I'm going to show you that almost all of you are choosing B here. Some people didn't vote, but people are coming down hard on B, and which is correct. K does not finish before P. K finishes after P. And we can see that because this, as Dan had said, is earlier, this is later. So earlier, later. And I'll just put those back in as you guys think about the next question. And please, thank you, Dan. Please vote again up top. Does M finish before K? A few more people still haven't voted. Does M finish before K? So, Wendell, you can vote up top with A, B, or C. A meaning yes, B meaning no, C meaning maybe. All right, you can vote up top there, Wendell. There's letters. Great. So people are pretty unanimously saying that M finishes before K. Let me make that check a little bit prettier there. Now, how do we know that M finishes before K? Probably obvious to a lot of people, but Mike, would you jump on the mic and explain how do you know that?
Because on the diagram that you have, there's M is before P, P is before K, so therefore M also has to be before K.
Beautiful. Great. And you might want to turn your mic down a little bit there. Exactly. It's a chain of relationships. M's before P, P's before K, so we know the relationship. Beautiful. And as always, if you have any questions, please type it into the chat window and Dan will handle it. Let's try another one. Does N finish before M? Does N finish before M? Go ahead and vote up top. What do you think? All right, we got some variety here. We have some people saying yes, people saying no, and people saying maybe. A few non-voters, very typical in America. But let's get everyone voting if we can. Does N finish before M? Well, let's hear from someone. Greer, do you have a mic, Greer? Do you want to tell us, give a smiley face, Greer, if you have a mic. And nope, no mic for Greer. Laurel, what do you don't have a vote here. Let's get Mike back on the mic, and if you turn down your mic a little bit and tell us why you said maybe.
Because we know how M relates to R, we know how M relates to R, but we don't know how M or N relate to each other directly.
So we don't know how they relate directly. Interesting. Let me give an example of what Mike is saying. What if I said Noah is older than Rob, and I said that Mike is older than Rob? So we've got Noah older than Rob, and we have Mike older than Rob. What do we know about Noah and Mike's ages? Go ahead and type in. What do we know about Noah and Mike in relation to each other? Who's older? We know nothing, Greer says. Yeah, we know nothing, right? This is the same kind of relationship. Now, what is different? Now, Mike said something that was very interesting. He said there's no connection. But there is no connection between M and K, and we did know the relationship there. Right, here's the connection between M and K. We know that. And here's the connection between M and N. So there is a connection. So why is it that this connection, and you guys were correct, by the way, it is a maybe. Why is it that this connection is a maybe and this connection is a yes? What's the difference? Pam's saying it's not sequential. Someone want to grab the mic? Raise your hand if you have an idea and have a mic and can explain why this connection works, tells us something, and this connection doesn't. What's the difference? It's pretty subtle. I'm going to sort of go with what Pam's saying here. It's not sequential, and I think the issue is that we change directions. In this connection between M and N, we have to go backwards. But when we went from M to K, it's just a left to right movement. And when you have a left to right movement, without having to backtrack, you know the relationship. That would be as if I said, Mike is older than Pam, and Pam is older than Karen. And in which case, we would know that Mike is older than Karen. So zigzags are going to be maybes. Left to rights, we're going to know the relative order. Give a smile if you get that idea. If we have a zigzag, we're going to have a maybe. I'll give you one more way to think about it. Look what happens when we have a zigzag. We could have this N stretch all the way back there. Or we used to have it like this. Or we could have that N back there. And N would finish before N. And check it out, it's still the same rules. Opening is shown after night, and night is shown before reaction. Those are the only two rules that regulate where N is. So either one is perfect. All right. Let's try this with a couple more questions. Does M finish before O? Go ahead and poll in up top. Does N finish before O? Very quick work there. A lot of correct answers saying maybe, because indeed, again, we have the zigzag. This zigzag allows for us to switch up the order of the elements connected by a zigzag. We could put O all the way back there. So again, the zigzag tells us it's a maybe. And Dan put in a good point, said the tree is a map of the relationships. It's not a picture of the actual order. So this does not tell us where things come. It doesn't tell us who comes first, who comes second. It just tells us the relationships between the elements. Let's try one last one. Does O finish before S? Go ahead and poll in up top. Does O finish before S? All right, looking good. The people voting maybe because O and S are again connected through a zigzag. It is actually a zigzag zig. So let's learn how to use this for looking at actual questions, which Dan will help you with in 1 second. Actually, I will.